Hello, my name is Rebecca Johnson of Supergirl Radio, and we are going to get started here in a few minutes. Waiting for Morgan to chime in here, co-host Morgan Glennon. Oh, I see her there. Let's see. She's coming in. Hey, Morgan.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. So we can wait a few minutes just to see if anybody trickles in.
Cool.
We'll give it a couple of minutes. Wanted to make sure this new fancy DC Fandome neon background.
Ooh, it's fancy.
Yes, it's very bright.
I'm sorry for being a couple seconds late. The kitten's new toy is bottle caps. That's their new
Bottle
favorite
caps.
thing. Like the caps that you take off of, like water bottles. And then they keep on playing with them like right in my doorway, and then they keep knocking them under the the closet that we keep our coats in. So all of a sudden I'll just hear them like they're playing with it. I hear it like scratching across, and then suddenly I won't hear it scratching anymore, and I'll look over and they're both just staring at the closet. And I feel really bad, so I have to like go in and get it.
You've interrupted their playtime.
I'm like, oh God, did it go in the closet? Sorry, boys.
So they moved on from rugs. I know they were into rugs lately.
Yeah, they had a whole phase where they just loved diving under rugs, but now they've moved on to water bottle caps. It's very exciting for them.
That's old news. Bottle caps are the new thing.
Exactly.
That's
the hot new item.
That's awesome. Everybody should follow at the Lab Cats on Instagram. It is delightful. All right, so it looks like we've got some folks coming in. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. If you did go to DC Fandome on August 22nd this past weekend, feel free to share your experience with us, because I'm sure there are things that we might have missed because it was a lot of stuff. So feel free to let us know about those things. All right, Morgan, you've got the Google Doc with all of our points.
I sure do.
Good. All right. So we'll have special guest past Rebecca with us tonight. So this will be very exciting.
Really excited.
She had some thoughts about some things. So we'll bring her in when the time comes. All right. So it looks like I think we have all of our ducks in a row. We've got some folks on the stream. So I'll do we'll play the intro and then we'll get started if that's okay. Because Morgan, you haven't been here when we've played the new video intro.
No, I haven't. I'm really excited. I've seen a little taste of it on Facebook, but
all right. So we'll do that and then we will get started here.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Noyce, and you're listening to Supergirl Radio.
DC TV podcast. There's too many now! Exclamation point. Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor Boardroom or Ballroom, because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Is Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Oh, Helen Slater here. It's so fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the CW Supergirl TV series and the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired to discuss the first day of DC Fandome. Because we should say the first day, because a few days before the event, they decided to change it from a 24-hour event to a 2-day event, with the second day happening on September 12th.
Surprise!
Surprise last-minute change to something they had been promoting for a while. So that
went so hard when I saw that. I was like, all right.
Yeah, we just kind of rolled with it, but it isn't great. Some people may speculate that it had to do with the DC Comics layoffs that had happened, like, I think that week or the week before. It was not great timing. So they may have had to switch up some of the lineup. I'm not sure. That's just speculation, but it was weird timing. So we're going to talk about that first day of DC Fandome, and we're also going to be talking about the experience of what being inside DC Fandome was like. So feel free to share your experiences in the comment section if you would like. So, Morgan, I think we should start because I know you were on vacation last week.
I was, yeah.
You were chilling, living it up. I was very jealous the whole time. I was looking at your Instagram. So did you actually get to go inside DC Fandome as it was going, or did you catch everything post the dome?
Yeah, I didn't get to go into the dome. I forgot honestly what day it was, and then I was like, later on. I was like scrolling my phone, and I was like, a lot of DC Fandome. Oh no. I was busy like hiking and becoming one with nature in the Berkshires, and I just didn't. I was just like, you know what? That's a future Morgan issue. She'll catch up.
Well,
and so then today I spent like a lot of time watching trailers. It was like trailer after trailer after trailer. So many things are coming.
There were a lot of things coming. So I think your time spent in nature was probably well spent. So I think that's perfectly fine. So we'll try to catch up on everything that you may have missed, or maybe you caught just after the fact. So we'll talk about some of those things, and let us know in the comments if we missed anything, because there's so much to cover. So we'll try to kind of hit the high points. Okay, so I was in DC Fandome. I kind of got a late start into it because I'm trying to get a bike. My brother graciously bought me a bike for my birthday that just happened.
Oh,
and
nice.
So we're trying to like get it, assembled and all that kind of stuff. And we went down to the bike shop that morning, and then it was a whole to do. So I got home a little bit after DC Fandome started. So I didn't get right on the money. So I kind of hopped in around 12:30.
So is it like a bike or like a stationary bike?
No, like a bike.
Oh,
And
nice.
if you're interested, I'm trying to pattern it off Pee-wee's Big Adventure bike.
No. That's awesome.
My whole aesthetic with the bike, I told my brother, I was like, I want Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is what I want. So I'm getting like a red bike. I was hoping to get white tires with the red fenders. But I may have to play with it a little bit. It may end up being like an Alabama Crimson Tide bike is what it might end up being. But that's what I'm shooting for.
That's what I think of when I think of bikes. So I feel like you're going bike classic.
Yes. That's the dream. Just no streamers. I think the streamers are low over the top Pee-wee. That's a little too much. So I got a late start, but so DC Fandome for Morgan.
I was about to say, could you explain to me? So I remember when they first announced the DC Fandome, and I read the email all about it, and I thought, I have no idea what this is still. I'm still confused. So explain it to me as if I had just read that email and still don't understand.
What does Michael Scott say? Like, explain it to me like I'm 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I was a little confused too. I didn't know what to expect when I got into it as well. So if you go to dcfandome.com, you click in there. You had to like I think I created an account, and then you log in, and it's basically a live stream is what it is. So there's a lot less confusing than I thought it was. Well, we'll get to the confusing bits in a second, because Past Rebecca has some thoughts about the confusing parts of it. But you go in, there's like a live stream in the middle of the screen. The main page is called the Hall of Heroes. So that's, if you hear somebody talking about the Hall of Heroes with DC Fandome, it's just basically the main page on the website. And you'll see on some of these clips that I brought with me to this live stream, you'll see that they had live tweets that they were featuring on the right side. So you had live tweets going on. You had a link to the store, which they had exclusive merchandise there, which I'm on a shirt. So it's not fancy. It says like DC Fandome. It's got like Justice League emblems on it. It's not, it's not over the top. But
you got the merch. I mean, you could almost approximate the feeling of being at a convention. Did you have to wait in a line, and how long was that line?
No lines. It was free.
Okay. Both of those are unlike my Comic-Con experiences.
I didn't come home with a sickness, which is good. Like Dragon Con, I was confused about the schedule. So
so it was all very familiar to you.
It was very convention-like.
Wow, it feels like home.
Yeah, I will say, out of all the online conventions that have been popping up here lately, this one, I think, really sort of felt like a convention. So we'll kind of get into that. But basically, that's what it was. So I'll show you a little bit of, let's see, let me share my screen real quick. so I can share a little bit of what the schedule sort of looked like when you went in there. So a couple of days before, they promoted, hey, share the create a schedule. So so I did what they told me to. And so when you created the schedule, it had all of these options in here, and it also had this is kind of how you on the right side where you would add things to your schedule. So they had a lot of content. It was panels. Mostly there were some things like the Ask Harley Quinn. That was a pre-recorded, pre-animated Q&A session with Harley Quinn. And actually, I don't watch the TV show, but it was delightful.
I watched like I don't know if that was like a longer clip, but I watched like the 5-minute clip that's up on YouTube.
Yeah, that was basically it.
It was hilarious.
It was really, really well done. I didn't know what to expect, but I watched it just for the heck of it. And it was very, very good. So I tried to watch as much as I could. And if you didn't get it, so that it did have time. So it was a timed event. But if you did miss anything, I'll go kind of forward into this video file here. It did have encores. So it would repeat. So if you missed everything in the beginning, it would keep replaying everything over and over again as an encore. So you could catch it later if you wanted to, which I found very helpful because there were there. So you can see kind of down there. I didn't capture it very well, but it says Wonder Woman 1984 panel encore. So that's kind of what the schedule inside DC Fandome looked like, and that's kind of the content that they were offering. So it was actually on time. We've complained about some other conventions, HomeCon, that were not when they said they were going to start. So I appreciated that DC Fandome did seem to keep to the schedule. I think the longer it went on, like going into Sunday, it was behind a little bit. I don't know how that happened, but I think I don't know. I'm very fascinated, just to be upfront. I'm very fascinated by how they did this. I wish I could see a behind the scenes of how DC Fandome was created and put together. They released some behind the scenes stuff of Jim Lee, like designing the Hall of Heroes and all of that. But I want to know, did they create just one big video file and just hit play? Were they controlling things in a control room while it was going on? I want to know more about that. So if DC wants to put something out about that, I would be interested in it. I don't know that anybody else would, but I would.
It seemed like a big undertaking from like the initial, emails that I got. And then like, as it was rolling out, I was like, how are they doing this? It seemed a lot more elaborate than some of the other virtual cons that I've seen, where it's just basically like sign on and there's a Zoom happening. This one seemed like it was like go into the Hall of Heroes, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, I think initially, they had planned it out as just a 24-hour experience, so that it had different areas. So you had I forget all the names, but there was a Funverse, an Insiderverse, Watchverse, I think was another one. So they only did one section of that. So the first day was just the one part of the world. So everything else, which I was a little disappointed by, because I didn't know that all the interactive things were going to be pushed to September 12th. I was very excited about all that karaoke and how to draw superheroes and all. I mean, I was excited about all the kids stuff. Let's be honest, because that was like interactive. Like I could participate in something, and I was very excited about that. Because with the panels and stuff, like you're just watching it. Like you can't.
Yeah, I feel like for some of these virtual ones where I've sat through them, even with some of the panels that I was really excited about, that I was like, yeah, I found myself like the panels on the TV, and I was just like kind of like, like it's just like it kind of loses your attention after a little while. Like it's not the same experience as like being in a panel room or something and having that energy of the crowd, and like somebody says like the ship everybody's into and they're all like, woo! Like you don't have that. I mean, it's embarrassing when you're there, but it does actually keep the energy up.
It's like, why would anybody ask that?
The one dreamy guy comes out and everybody's like, woo, I love you. And you're like, stop, don't say that. But like then you're at home and you're like, I want that 13-year-old screaming, I love you. It's not the same.
It's not. I would agree that the panels sometimes, especially like Wizard World did a pretty good job for some of those panels, but there were some times where I was like, okay, move it along. Let's keep it going. But I think what DC Fandome did really well with the panels is that they did edit them. So it wasn't just like you're kind of waiting for answers. They would edit, so it was very precise, so that it had a good pacing to it. So you were never bored by it.
That's nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciated that a lot because that can be a downside to. And actually, hang on just a second. I want to change my microphone here because apparently it defaulted to my Mac microphone. So I'm sorry about that. So you should be able to hear me a little better now. But the way that they did the panels was a lot better. I think the editing helped it in terms of just watching it as a viewer. So I think that had it going for it. As so I can just show you a little bit of one of the panels. I didn't record a lot of the panels, but I did think that one of the things they did pretty well was that they invited people to kind of bridge the gap between the old and the new. And I hate to say old with Linda Carter. She's still looking great at her age. So I hope that nobody thinks that I'm disparaging her for her age. I mean, the former Wonder Woman with the current Wonder Woman. So I thought that was really cool that they celebrated all the different versions of all of these different characters. So I personally appreciated that because it was inviting. You know, if you liked a certain character, but you didn't like another character, it didn't matter because they were all represented. So I really appreciated that. And this is that, this was like a Wonder Woman 80th anniversary. It was a panel, but it was like a 5-minute edited piece. It wasn't very long. But I did like that. They took a minute to say, hey, Wonder Woman's turning 80 this year, and that's a big deal. And so I really,
Wonder Woman is looking great for her age.
She's looking so good. Those Amazons, they are crushing it. So they did little things like that, which I thought helped create an inviting atmosphere for fans, but it also kept things moving. They did a really good job of, in between panels, they would have like little interstitials. So you might have the little Harley Quinn thing that wasn't very long, or the Wonder Woman 80th panel, or my favorite, the little claymation animated shorts that they used to show on Cartoon Network that are adorable. So those things really kind of helped you stay engaged. I never felt bored by anything, and I was always looking for something. So I thought that was all very good. They had hosts from all over the world that were green screened in. They showed a little bit about the behind the scenes of that, where they would show somebody in front of their green screen recording their bits. And I thought that was really smart because then they could move them around inside the Hall of Heroes. They could shrink them down to be little. They could make them bigger in the screen, sort of fit the composition. They could put them next to a monitor. They could do whatever they wanted to with them. Some of the green screens looked a little bit better than others, but all the hosts did a really, really good job. And so I thought, for the most part, I think DC Fandome was handled pretty well. So that was kind of the experience. You logged in, you watched a live stream, you could live tweet and be featured, and you could buy some merchandise if you wanted to. So
how did you buy the merchandise? Like, was there like a exhibitors hall kind of thing?
So there was a shop that you went in, and I did have video of that, and I scrapped it because I was like, I'm not going to buy a shirt that has Damian Wayne on it. But there,
no one wants that.
He's Talia al Ghul's son. Nobody wants that. He's got Batman in him, but the Talia, like, that negates everything.
He's always so mad. I'm just like, Damian, cheer up, dude.
Damian, you need to get a sense of humor. So there was a shop. You just clicked. It had a link, and you'll see it in some of my clips. There's a really big link, like a button to the store, and it took you into just like a website, like a web store, and then you could go into the exclusives, or you could go to the DC merch in Hot Topic or Amazon. Ooh. Or they had some focused merchandise, so they had like statues and t-shirts that had comic book covers, or they had a section just about Black superheroes. Like they had various sections in the store.
Oh, cool.
So they even, and I guess I could show this now. They even had a link to a virtual fandom run. So I'll play this real quick. Oh, DC Superhero runs. I'm interested in this. What is this? I've done a Batman run. I did a Wonder Woman virtual run. Got a pretty cool like Wonder Woman medal.
Coach Venus here. I'm running the DC Fandome virtual run because I am a super fan. Walk, run, or fly. Sign up for the
Yeah, flying
virtual
seems
run
like cheating,
now.
to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna click on this register thing. What does this do? Okay, so I guess it's just a fandom virtual run. Cool. Well, I will come back and I will register for that. And I did register
Nice.
for that. So
I was
so
on the edge of my seat and I was like, did she register?
so I do owe DC Fandome a 5K.
So how does the virtual 5K work? Or is it just like the honor system?
It is an honor system. You go and run during a specific time frame at your own pace, at your own leisure. And then you can enter your time on the website, I guess, if you want like your record to be shown. I don't, I'm slow. But they'll send you like the shirt and the medal and stuff in the mail. So
Oh, nice. I was about to be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to enter my time because they'd be like, really?
did she even attempt to run? Like that's what they would ask.
Did she take a break in the middle?
Did she go to lunch? What was happening? So they did have options like that where they had because I didn't know about the virtual run until I got into the store and I was like, what is this? Because I've been doing a lot of virtual runs here lately. I owed Grover a virtual run. I owed Oscar the Grouch.
I was about to say Grover, like the Sesame Street character.
I did some Sesame Street runs. And I owed Wonder Woman a run. So now I owe
Wonder Woman is in good company. So is DC with my boy Grover and Oscar.
Oh man, my Oscar shirt is one of my favorites. I can't wear it though because I'm in front of a green screen and there's Oscar on it. So he would disappear. But yeah, so I highly recommend the virtual runs. And I don't know if that option to do the fandom virtual run is available outside of the dome. I don't know if that was just exclusive while you were inside the Hall of Heroes, but that was included in the store. So I guess let's see if anybody in the chat has any experiences they want to share with us. Okay, so Mark says the panels and trailers are fantastic. And Caroline, is it Dries?
I never know.
Somebody let us know in the comment section how you pronounce her last name. We should ask the Batwoman podcast. They may know.
Oh, yeah.
She spoke for 1 minute and proved that she has no idea what she created. Well, that is
brutal. Mark's bringing the heat.
Yeah, there was some Batwoman stuff in there. I guess
was there really?
Let's see. I was going to talk about this in the Supergirl section because it was sort of about Supergirl, but not really.
I saw the new Batwoman actress in that. What panel was that? The crossover panel, or she was featured in like a little fan Q&A, like a fan submitted a question. And it was one of those, I think it was one of those interstitials between panels. So I think she was around the Multiverse 101 panel is where I think I saw it. She, the new Batwoman, Javicia Leslie, answered a fan question about Ryan Wilder. Ryan Wilder, guys, they are committed to that name. Wild.
She is wild.
Than the one before. Did you think Kate Kane was wild? Guess what? Guess who's wilder? I can't believe they're really going with this name.
I was really hoping that was just a name they were using for like auditions or something, but nope, it's Ryan Wilder. That's the real name. So the fan question was about Ryan Wilder's relationship with Supergirl. And Javicia said that she looks forward to playing the perspective of a street kid who saw these superheroes growing up and to fill the shoes of a superhero. the shoes of this street kid among the superheroes who have already been doing this for a while. Javicia thinks that Ryan Wilder will have a little bit of a culture shock around other superheroes. So she's at least I was impressed with her from that clip. She seemed to care about the character, and she seemed to be thinking about Ryan Wilder's motivation about being wild as a street kid.
Yeah, I'm excited for her. She seems great. She seems like a good actress. The Ryan Wilder aspect of it, I still don't really understand how you replace Batwoman on Batwoman, but like since they did the casting, I felt a little bit like, okay, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, the actress
worse.
Yeah, I mean, the actress is likable enough. I just don't know that I care about the character yet, but I guess that's her job to make us care about that character. So
it made me wonder if if they featured that question about the Batwoman Supergirl relationship, if that means that we'll see Kara interacting with Ryan at some point in the future, depending on production schedules, I guess.
I imagine that they probably will at some point, but then that also makes me think, well, they got to address the Kate Kane going missing thing with Kara, because Kara and Kate had become like good friends. So yeah, they're gonna have to address that somehow.
What if Kate Kane going missing is just like their Jeremiah in the woods, and they just like Kara meets her for the first time, and she's like, I feel like there was another Batwoman. She's like, shh, we don't speak of it now.
That makes me wish that they had not killed Jeremiah, because maybe we could have had this whole like headcanon where Kate Kane and Jeremiah are in the woods together.
like Kate Kane is like going through a bush, and she just like spreads it apart, and there's Jeremiah like, what up? He's like eating berries. She closes the bush back again.
They really wrote themselves into a hole that they can't do that.
They sure did.
I'm very upset about that. Let's see. Rachel says they moved the panel that she was most excited about to September 12th too. Yeah, a lot of the interactive things and a lot of the TV stuff is happening on September 12th. A lot of August 22nd's fandom was mostly movies. There was a little bit of TV. I think there was a Flash TV panel, and then there was also a Titans panel, which made me very excited because I don't want to spoil anybody. That's for the Titans podcast to talk to you about. But the things that they dropped, one of those items for the third season, I think could be relevant to Supergirl fans. So look into that if you're interested.
Rebecca, is it Director Bones?
I wish.
Because if they get Director Bones before we do, that's it.
I mean, we're gonna have to really raise some heck. I think if he shows up, he might appear on Batwoman. He's had a lot of interactions with Batwoman in the past. So if Ryan Wilder goes up against Director Bones,
my God, Batwoman is if that's the case, Batwoman is truly blessed. I don't know. I don't know what they did to deserve such great villains.
Ryan Wilder will automatically be a better character for having faced Director Bones if that is the case. True. So we'll see how that goes. But no, Titans is getting a Batman character. I'll just say this: a Batman family character who has a connection to Supergirl. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to, and it was a character I thought we would never get on TV because it seemed like she was never. I said she. She was it always seemed like she was never allowed to be on television for some reason.
Is that because it's Nasty Luther?
If they put Nasty Luther and Director Bones on other TV shows, God, I'm gonna be so mad.
I'd be so mad. I'd be like, we've only ever been pitching for our show, not everybody's shows. This is not a group project.
These are not free ideas for the whole group. Yeah, so that would be something. It really would. Let's see if there's any other things. Okay, so Mark says the nice thing about the schedule change was that you could just plant yourself on one feed and not have to worry about switching rooms. I would agree with that, Mark, because I felt going into DC Fandome on Saturday that I was maybe going to get a little overwhelmed. I was prepared to like plant myself in front of my laptop the whole day and take minimal breaks. But it was nice that I just had those panels really. And that was kind of it. And it was actually, for me, it was personally good because after the Snyder Cut trailer was released, that was it. I was done for the day. Like I was done.
Did you have to like go lie down on like a fainting couch and just be like, breathe? Several people tweeted me, by the way, and they were like, have you done a wellness check on Rebecca? Are she okay? I was like, I assume she's fine.
That is so funny. I was okay. But I like recorded a reaction to it. I'm not, I don't want to become one of those YouTubers. Not that that's bad. It's just not what I want to do. But I became one of those YouTubers on Saturday. And so I like edited things. So like by the time I was finished, it was like, I don't know. What time was that? Like 7, 8 o'clock. Like I was just like, I'm exhausted. This has been an exhausting day. So I picked back up Sunday morning with what I missed. So, so that I was actually glad for that because when the Snyder Cut stuff happened, it was just my focus was on that and I couldn't redirect anywhere else. So that actually benefited me to split it up into 2 days. And now I can go in the second day, I can do all my drawing my superheroes and all my kids stuff that I was really excited about. So
nice. I can't wait to learn how to draw a superhero.
I was interested in the karaoke. Of course, we say karaoke because of Car Danvers.
Yeah.
But I was like, what is this karaoke thing in DC Fandome? I don't understand what that was, but it seemed like a lot of fun. So I think all the fun stuff, the interactive things are going to be happening on September 12th.
Well, that's exciting because that means I didn't miss them.
No. You're good on that. You'll get all your drawing lessons and your karaoke all on September 12th. Let's see. Claudia's.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, what superhero themed song would you sing for karaoke? Now, I think for me, it would have to be Somebody Save Me.
Remy Zero. That's tough. I like Jimmy Olsen's Blues by Spin Doctors. That's probably what I would pick.
Let us solid choice.
Let us know in the comments if you have a superhero song that you would sing at karaoke. Claudia says the Hall of Heroes was founded on the big three: Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. I noticed that Wonder Woman and Batman were heavily covered, but I felt the Superman side had less coverage. I noticed
because there's not like another Superman movie coming out anytime soon, right?
Shut your mouth. There is one coming out in 2021.
Really?
The Snyder Cut.
Well, I mean, like not like a standalone. It's just his jam.
That's true.
No background players. He's got the whole band with him in the Snyder Cut, right?
Well, there is a Superman Man of Tomorrow animated feature. Cool. I don't know if that just came out or if it's coming out. I noticed that the Superman homepage had mentioned a lack of Superman, but I don't know. I think I was okay with the stuff with there was Man of Tomorrow stuff. There was some Superman stuff in that Suicide Squad video game. He's evil in that one, but I think all of the Justice League is evil in that one because you gotta give the Suicide Squad somebody to fight.
Those trailers made me like want to play those video games, and then I like never remember what platform it's available for, and I was like, is it for Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, right. I was watching those trailers and I was like, these are cool. I wish I could play this.
I'm just gonna need to like look up Twitch streamers and just watch them play the game.
But that's no fun.
Tell me a story, game.
But can you play as King Shark? I would want to do that. I would be into that. Yeah, so Rachel also says the panel she was looking forward to the most was the animated Legion of Superheroes panel. Yeah, I really love the animated Legion of Superheroes show, and so I think that got moved as well. So let's see if there's any other things that I saw something from Donna. A lot of the TV behind the scenes stuff moved to September 12th. Yeah, so a lot of Supergirl content got moved to September 12th, which we didn't know when we scheduled this live stream. If that had been the case, maybe we still cover DC Fandome, but I was kind of hoping to cover Supergirl stuff. But yeah, a lot of that stuff got moved over. So that is kind of how that went. But I like the idea of having the 2 days because it does kind of give you room to breathe. So I guess I will. let's see. I'll talk about my positives first about DC Fandome, because this is a brand new experience. This is something they've never done. I personally think they should do it every year, because they basically, DC and Warner Brothers and HBO Max dominated the news on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
So
that's really true. Well, I also thought it was really funny. I like watched some of the trailers and stuff like that, and I watched that like Harley Quinn thing, and the amount of HBO Max name dropping was just hilarious. It felt like everything that I watched, it was like either branded with HBO Max in the corner, or they were like only on HBO Max. I was like, okay, calm down, okay.
I think you need to subscribe to HBO
They
Max.
were like, I think you should subscribe. I'm like, I am.
You don't have to sell me on it. I'm already there.
Believe me, that app crashes all the time. I know HBO Max.
Yeah. So Harley Quinn did talk a lot about. I think she mentioned something about how Batman thought he carried Warner Brothers or something, and she was like, "No, it's Big Bang Theory and something
like,
else."
It's reruns of Friends and The Big Bang Theory. Which made me laugh, especially because I think the voice actress is Penny from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Yeah, the Harley Quinn thing. If you guys haven't watched it,
So
it has a little bit of language, but that Harley show is rated TV mature, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So it is a mature show. So just if you haven't watched it, just know that. Okay, so a few positive takeaways. I really liked that it was focused on the fans. There were highlights of cosplayers. You could see your live tweeting inside the Hall of Heroes. They took fan questions that they asked for. I don't know, a couple weeks prior. They asked, "Hey, send us your questions," and a lot of those got turned into audio and video content for social media, which I thought was really smart. They either got posted on social media or they were used as interstitials in between the panels. So you were constantly watching something, you were constantly engaged. I personally thought it was really cool with the Snyder Cut panel, because that movement, love it or hate it, it was driven by fans asking for the artistic vision that Zack Snyder had put out there when he shot the film. And so it was driven by, it was a fan-driven movement. And so I thought it was cool that during that panel, Zack Snyder was asking fans questions about the Snyder Cut movement. So I thought that was really cool and fan-driven. And there was also a feature that I thought was really cool that I didn't know if I would like or not. But then when I read the description, I was like, I'm going to watch this. I'm going to check this out. It was the Jim Lee portfolio review. So Jim Lee, if you don't know, famous comic book artist. He's also one of the big wigs at DC Comics. He actually did a feature where he reviewed fan art. So if you were
so cool.
If you were a fan who drew art of DC characters, he would actually look over it and give his thoughts and feedback on it. So Past Rebecca has a clip about that if you would like to watch it.
I sure will.
Okay, this is really cool. I appreciate this because I've heard stories of how fans of comic books would go to San Diego Comic-Con or some comic convention, and they would show their portfolio to comic book artists and creators and get their feedback on things. So and that's how some comic book artists become comic book artists, is that they seek the advice and mentorship of other artists. And so I think this is really cool that Jim Lee is doing a portfolio review. I think that's really, really cool. It's fan focused, but it's also encouraging, and it does something for the people who submit their fan art.
You've got the lettering in here. I feel like you started and then kind of stopped. You were in there, maybe you were going to go all the way to the top, and then you're like, I've said my piece. I know what would look like. Generally, you should use it as a real part of the composition, right? Even though it's lettering, right? And what kind of shape it occupies, and it just kind of fits naturally in the same kind of space. It kind of creates this squared composition, and I kind of wonder if you have something like that, and then maybe the all that, maybe it falls in like a big ha, or something, right? Where all the lettering
or he creates the bat symbol or something like that.
Or even like a shat, or even his shadow, right?
Like
if he's uplit, and then in the coloring of it, the lettering would be darker, and that's how you would see that shadow. Just something to think about. I think because if you're going to add the lettering, I feel like, once you start, you got to think it through and say, okay, what am I doing with the lettering? What role does it play in the composition? What kind of extra thing does it give? What does it unlock? And I think it unlocks a lot.
It's almost like Jim Lee knows what he's talking about. It's almost like he's he's done some of that before. But I really enjoyed watching that little featurette because Jim Lee, he took that guy's art and honestly, he made it a lot better. And he gave him a lot of tips about lighting and coloring. And I look forward to seeing what that fan does in the future, because with advice like that, I think he's going to do pretty well. So I thought that was really awesome. That was a cool idea.
Yeah, that's really cool
to highlight fan art like that. There was an exclusive sweepstakes. I guess let me pull my little PowerPoint back up here. So they did have one of the Supergirl aspects of DC Fandome was that they did give away a big. They gave away a big prize pack, but they also had drawings for these little Lego Supergirl minifigures. And this is definitely the season 5 Supergirl, because she's got the pants. So she does have the pants and the bangs, which I appreciate the bangs. That's a nice touch.
Great.
So even though we didn't get any kind of Supergirl panel or anything like that, they did have an exclusive.
We got a Lego with bangs, guys. What more could we ask for?
So there was that. So they did give things away to fans. And I'll talk a little bit more about the process for that in a little bit. Actually, I won't be talking about that. Past Rebecca will be talking about that because she has lots of thoughts. Let's see. There were some exciting trailer reveals for the Snyder Cut, for Wonder Woman 1984, the Batman, for big spoilers for Titans, like we talked about, the video games. So all of those things looked really great, and they were very exciting. And so as a fan, I watched that and I was like, man, this is awesome. So I really appreciated that they basically gave us things. It wasn't just people sitting around talking about things they've done in the past. They presented us with new things that was very exciting.
Yeah. I watched all of the trailers, obviously, especially like the big ones, the Snyder Cut, the Wonder Woman, and the Batman, and I was like, ooh. I was really interested for the Batman one too, because it's a new Batman. It's our Pats as Batman.
Pattinson.
Pattinson. And I love Robert Pattinson because I used to watch his interviews around the Twilight time, and just like the amount that he hated that part and those books really like warmed my heart, where they'd be like, Edward is such a romantic hero, and he'd be like, he's a creep. And I was like, Robert Pattinson, I like your straight shooting. And then I read that weird interview he did recently, like in quarantine, where he was just like taking everything in his kitchen and like making a food out of it and like giving it to the interview, like showing it to the interviewer, like this is chicken noodle mac and cheese or something. And I was like, what are you doing? Are you okay? Maybe he shouldn't be all by himself in there. There's just such an endearing quality for me with Robert Pattinson. So I'm already on his side on this Batman thing. I was like, weird Batman? Sign me up.
I don't know if he is shy or if like his awkwardness is like part of his thing, but they had a panel for the Batman, which was basically Aisha Tyler talking to Matt Reeves about the film, but they had an introduction from Pattinson, and he did not seem very interested in doing it. He was like, I can't really say anything, and we got something for you. That's it. But Morgan, I should say, me just doing that right now, I was more excited about the Batman than he was. Like,
no, I believe you. Having seen his interviews and like read them, I believe you 100%. In that same article I was referencing, he was like, they had me working out, but like no one's around now, so I'm just eating mac and cheese. He was like, why does Batman have to be ripped? And I was like, I mean, that's a good point, Robert Pattinson. he's a real joy, but also a very good actor, which is, I think, the funny thing about him. But
maybe he's just acting in all of those interviews. Maybe this is all just an act.
It's persona. He gets home and he puts on like a little jacket with like a monocle. He's very proper, drinking tea.
Yeah,
we don't know his life.
we don't know his life. Yeah, so he did not seem very excited about the Batman, but it was the trailer was very good. I was taken by the fact that apparently it's only 25% done with shooting, but it looks
he's gonna have to work off that mac and cheese.
He's gonna have to get back to the gym.
I feel so bad for Pattinson. No, like what I saw looked really good, and I thought it was interesting. It looks like the villain is gonna be Riddler, which I think is a nice break from always having it be Joker. Yeah, I feel like it's always Joker in all of these things, and it's like he's great. We all love him for a reason, but like after you've seen like the 12th version, you're just like, all right.
There's more to the Joker,
and especially the Batman villains are all so insane and over the top. Like you've got such a stacked deck there. Just pick out another card.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be Riddler, and then Penguin. Oswald Cobblepot's going to be in there, and Selena Kyle. So a little Catwoman action. They showed her in the trailer. She looks very. It's supposed to be year 2 Batman, but it sort of looks like the year 1 Batman. It's sort of the same look to it. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I noticed her mask just looked like a piece of like fabric she got off the floor and tied around her.
Yeah, she hasn't quite gotten her look down yet. So, but
she's like, I haven't refined it yet. This is what I'm thinking.
But she's into thieving and stealing things, so she's got that going for her. So she's almost there. She's getting close.
She can steal like a more elaborate mask for herself at some point.
That's true. That's how she gets her Catwoman costume. She just this is her process right now. She's just taking everything that she needs for the costume. So all of those trailers are pretty good. I was even I wasn't really excited, to be honest, about the Suicide Squad movie. I find it strange that they released a movie back in 2016 called Suicide Squad, and now they're releasing a new movie called The Suicide Squad.
It's different because of the I
was like, really? You can't do anything better? Like, that's it? But to be fair, the trailer did look good, and it's going to be fun to see some of those lesser known characters on the screen.
Oh, I think I missed the trailer for Suicide Squad. I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, you would know if you saw Polka Dot Man and Nathan Fillion and Harley Quinn's new looks. So I think you would enjoy that. Not a big James Gunn fan, but I will admit that he does a pretty good job with his films.
He does a good job. I mean, he did a good job with all the the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, and I feel like Suicide Squad is similar in that it's just like a weird bunch of characters that like you wouldn't necessarily think works in like a movie, and then you're just like, okay, it's a raccoon who talks. So interesting to see what kind of like weird energy he brings to that.
Yeah, at least it's a similar concept. It's not like taking Joss Whedon and giving him the Justice League. That was a tragic mistake that should never have happened. But I think the James Gunn thing might translate pretty well. The trailer does look good for that. So all the trailers looked pretty good. Shazam didn't really have anything. They revealed a title for the new Shazam movie called I think Shazam Fury of the Gods. That panel was really cute though. It had the whole Shazam family in there. And they were trying to provide some exclusive content when they really didn't have any. So that was very funny. They also had the Wonder Woman cast play a game that seems similar to Mafia called Werewolf of 84 or something like that. That got a little awkward. I didn't watch all of it, if I'm going to be honest, but they seem to be having fun. It was not so much fun for me to watch. I think I'd rather be playing the game. But that was interesting nonetheless. So all of the content that they put out, I thought was pretty stellar, and they did a bang up job, like I said, of interconnecting all of the variations of the characters. They had a lot of behind the scenes of Batman stuff. They had voices of the Batman, which I thought it was called something different, but it was basically all the people who record the the international voices for Batman on film. So you would have
cool.
the French Batman giving an interview, or the person in Spain or somewhere, like the different Batman. So that kind of stuff was really neat. So I really appreciated that a lot.
So I don't want to undercut. Obviously, you've already done a video on this, but what did you think of this Snyder Cut trailer?
Is it okay if I geek out over it? I know some people don't like don't like Snyder stuff. I happen to love it. I love that version of the DCEU. I was surprised by the song choice. If it had been me, I would not have used Hallelujah because he had already used it in Watchmen. But it turns out that
did he use it in Watchmen? I don't remember that.
Oh, you would remember. You would remember it. It was during if I can say this in a kid-friendly fashion, a lovemaking scene between Night Owl and Silk Spectre.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now I do remember it.
So if it had been me, I would not have used it because that's what a lot of people think of. So that it's hard to get that out of your mind. But it turns out, from what I understand, what people have been saying is that that song played at his. So he left Justice League initially because his daughter had committed suicide. And so there was a tragedy in their family, and apparently his daughter really liked that song. And so that's, and it was played at her funeral. That's what I've heard. I don't know 100% if that is correct. But he did say in one of the interviews I watched that it had a special connection to their family. So if you hated the song choice, it wasn't for you. It wasn't for us. It was for them. But I thought it was pretty awesome because I think it shows just how different his cut is. Even though some of the shots are from scenes that we saw in the Justice League version, it's a different tone. It's a different look. It looks really good. And I thought it was really funny that he included the moment where Silas Stone is eviscerated, because it's like, yeah, it's a different movie because he dies in this one. So if you are concerned that it might not be any different, it's different. There's a lot more cyborg stuff. There's a lot more Flash stuff. I even thought it was cool because now that we see more of how his Flash moved, because I know everybody was talking about how goofy the Flash looked when he was running in the Justice League version. But I think what he's doing is he's like throwing his lightning while he's running, and he's like building things so now that we see more of that, it like makes more sense why he runs a little goofier in that version. But I'm really excited about it. There was a lot of Lois in the trailer, which I was very excited about. And so I just I can't believe it's happening. So I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that, or my mind, I should say. But I'm just very excited. I wish we had gotten to see a little bit more. All of those shots were things that he's already teased on Vero. So it seemed like he was, again, catering to the fans. Like if you had been paying attention to his Vero account, you would have recognized all those things. So I thought it was a treat that I'm still watching and enjoying. And I can't wait until 2021. So those are my simplified thoughts, I guess, because I could go into great detail.
I was like, Rebecca's going to have opinions about this one, I think.
I have a lot of opinions. I enjoyed the gratuitous shirtless Jason Momoa shot.
Of course, always. We all do.
I mean,
God bless.
So there were things like that that I really enjoyed. Just, seeing emotion out of those characters that felt like was missing in that original version. Amy Adams was actually emoting in those scenes. It was like a 2-second shot, and I was like, I feel things from her character. She looked very checked out in that other version. So I'm glad to actually see her actually getting to do some acting. So I could bore you to tears about my thoughts on the Snyder Cut, but
how many episodes? But like, how many parts is it supposed to be? I know that you would probably know.
It's actually kind of like episodes. He has 4 hours.
Oh wow.
So it's going to be released as 4 parts, 1 hour long each. And then he said they might do it so that you have an option to where you can watch the whole thing if you want to. And I think from what people have said, The Hateful Eight also did this. I think Quentin Tarantino did something like that on Netflix.
Oh, really?
So I think it's pretty smart. They can probably get maybe 2-3 months of subscriptions out of that if they play their cards right. So I think that'll be pretty cool. It'll be tough to like wait for it once they drop one. Because
are they gonna come? Are they gonna like go weekly or something like that?
I guess so. If they were smart, they would space it out.
Yeah, I mean that does make sense. But what if you just want to binge them all at once? Keep watching.
You have to wait, I think, until it all gets released, and then I think they're going to release it in one big thing.
Those clever HBO Max executives.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because I've heard the story of like his full vision, and I'm curious as to whether or not he actually completed that or not. I don't want to say what some of those parts are if you haven't been paying attention, because I don't want to spoil anybody in case that actually does come to fruition with what he shot. So I've actually no idea how it ends. I have no idea if it ends on a cliffhanger. I don't know if it ends with a Clark and Lois wedding. I don't know. Cross your fingers. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to shake down. So I'm very curious. It's almost like a whole new movie for me. So that is kind of how I feel about that. Let's see. So who doesn't exist in Justice League? So good question. In the Snyder Cut, we get Iris West, we get Ryan Choi, we get Martian Manhunter. Who else? I think somebody said Desaad was going to be in there, so there's going to be more Apocalypse stuff. Who else is missing? There's been rumors of Green Lantern stuff. Volko is going to be in there. We did not see him in that version. So lots of characters I'm very excited about the Martian Manhunter reveal. That's going to be very cool. So it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Oh, Darkseid also is going to be in it. That is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of characters that they didn't show in the other one, which seems crazy to me. Like, put Darkseid in the movie. You're going to make $1 bazillion. So that was bizarre. But yeah, so if you want to see my full analysis of the trailer and see me freak out over Steppenwolf and Superman fighting, which I didn't realize until I went back through it, and I was like, oh, that's totally new and different and so much better than the other one. You can go to my YouTube channel, Duck Milk Prod, and see that 45-minute long video.
I love it.
So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. And I'll link to it in the description for here and for the podcast if you're interested in that. Okay, so
like we have a question from Sam Wise, who asked if we have any thoughts on Wonder Woman 84. My thoughts were amazing 80s fashion. I loved it. Those shoulder pads so wide.
So wide. I liked Barbara Minerva, I think is how you say Cheetah's real name. She's got Kristen Wiig's character. She's got like the was it leopard print? Some kind of it was either on her skirt or
print.
Yeah, so I liked her look a lot.
Me too.
I enjoyed the now the cheetah special effects though, I hope are still being worked on.
Me too. Like, how do you have such great special effects that like you see Wonder Woman like riding the lightning with her lasso, but then like Cheetah, I don't know what in the name of Uncanny Valley was happening with the full Cheetah effects. I was like, oh no, babe.
If you're gonna do Cheetah, you got to do it right, man. You have got to nail that Cheetah, because that your whole movie hinges on the Cheetah aspect.
It looked kind of like one of those covers for Animorphs, but like you're halfway through.
I like the idea of having Cheetah in the film. I'm very excited about that. I think Kristen Wiig's going to crush it. But the Cheetah effects, not quite there yet, I don't think. But everything else, I think I was really excited about. I'm excited about seeing the Amazon competition, the games.
Oh yeah,
on Themyscira.
And like little Diana in him.
So cute.
So cute. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited about getting back to Themyscira and seeing more of that. I'm excited to see her in the 80s, which will be fun. I'm still wondering how we get Chris Pine's character, like how Steve is non-blown up. I'm on board for that. And all of his fashion. I want Steve Trevor in a fanny pack. Apparently that's a thing that I didn't know.
I think it's gonna be fun to see Chris Pine with a fanny pack, but I also I hope they do that in a good way that makes me feel like Diana's whole character journey in the DCEU hasn't been for nothing. Because her whole deal is she starts off, she becomes Wonder Woman, then she has a thing with Steve Trevor. She goes away, she gets silent for 100 years, then she comes back and she becomes Wonder Woman again. And if you just go back and like Steve's okay, like what was the whole point of her character arc? I don't understand. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be some sort of like magical thing that happens. I don't know. I don't know if he's like the real deal. He seems to be alive and talking to her, so I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, maybe he's just a dream in a fanny pack, and then like maybe in every movie from now on, like she'll just be like talking to herself, and they're like, "What is she doing?" And you see her side of the thing, and it's Steve Trevor in a fanny pack going like, "Diana, this is what you need to do."
I would actually be okay with that. That would preserve the story arc for me. What do you think about Maxwell Lord? We're going to get Maxwell Lord.
We have a comment from Rachel who says Maxwell Lord is also in that movie. It's true. It's true. He's not played by Peter. What's his last name? The actor who played Maxwell Lord.
Oh, why am I blanking?
He's also in the Twilight movies.
Somebody help us out in the comments. Why am I blanking on Maxwell Lord?
See.
I'm blanking on Pedro Pascal is in the film.
Pedro Pascal, who is
the Mandalorian.
He's the Mandalorian. He was in Game of Thrones, and he left that show in a very dramatic fashion. I was really excited. He looks a little different in the movie. I think that I don't know what they're doing with like his hair.
Yeah, I'm a little worried that he's going to be a political analogous figure. Like he's going to be like an insert for Donald Trump. And I'm like, I'm over it.
Peter Fasinelli.
That's who that is. Yes, yes.
You. We were so close yet so far away.
Very far away.
I think I was about to say like Peter Capodelli, which is like one of the guys who is, I think, which is like a butcher of one of the Doctor Who actors.
Capaldi. Yeah.
Capaldi, yeah.
He's actually going to be in the Suicide Squad.
Oh,
as
awesome.
the Thinker.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, he's welcome to Wonder Woman as well anytime.
Yeah, the most famous thing about Maxwell Lord is that in the comics, Wonder Woman kills him. So I highly doubt they're going to do that.
That's dark.
They don't have the guts to do it. If they're not going to like release Steppenwolf with spiky armor because he's too scary, they're not going to have Wonder Woman kill Maxwell Lord. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, so there's that. But on the whole, I thought the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer was good. Cheetah critiques aside. I thought it was good.
It made me very very hyped again to see that movie. Now, when is that supposed to come out? Is it and by come out, I'm putting air quotes around everything.
I have no idea. I think they keep trying to push it back to try to get it into the theaters.
Yeah, they're like in theaters, and I'm like, what's a theater?
An X-Men movie did come out, I think. The New Mutants.
What?
I think is supposed to come out at theaters at the end of August.
Really?
Yeah. I was at the gym.
Choice.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be the only ones.
Yeah, for real.
So they're
going to literally dominate the box office.
They're going to have the biggest box office in 5 months. So hey, take a chance.
Listen, just hop over that bar.
So I don't know if they're going to try to keep pushing it back to see if they can release it in theaters, but I don't know. They need that sweet, $20 ticket. So
they should just do what Disney Plus is doing. Is like, do you want to see Mulan? Give us $30. Okay.
I don't know that I want to see Mulan that much.
You might want to price Mulan a little bit more reasonably, Disney. I want to see it, but that's a lot.
Would you see Wonder Woman for $30?
That's a good question. Maybe. I mean, I think I've said this, but Chris Pine is in that fanny pack. And
it's worth $30.
It's worth $30.
Worth every penny. Let's see. So we'll take a real quick question here. Donna says, do you think by moving the DC CW, that's a lot of letters, DC CW TV stuff to mid-September, and most of cast will be back in quarantine in Vancouver for filming, that they will add a full Supergirl panel with the cast? It's possible. They might shift things around and change some of the content. I don't know. We haven't heard anything as of yet, which is 2 weeks away. So I guess they'll have to figure that out. I think they'll be in Vancouver, but it sounds like from what Jesse Rath said in one of the panels, I think at Wizard World, they're not going to start shooting until the end of September. So they might be in Vancouver kind of getting ready. I guess they have to do a little bit of quarantine before they go and start shooting and isolate themselves once they get to Vancouver. But yeah, I don't know. Though I think they heard the cries of the Supergirl fans, I think. So
when they originally announced it and everybody was like, don't you have a show called Supergirl? do you know that?
So they may try to make it up to us. I don't know. I still thought a lot of the behind the scenes stuff with the costuming, and I think there was something on the special effects and on Krypton. I was like, I'm fine with that. I've seen panels of celebrities talk all summer. I want to see like cool stuff. I'm sorry. I know that sounds bad. I think celebrity panels is cool stuff, but I want some other stuff. I want a variety.
Well, it's also like they haven't started doing anything. So it's that you're going to be in that situation where it's like, tell us what's next. And they're like, we can't tell you. We don't know. And then it'll just be like a lot of that for an hour.
That's when you ask those. That's when you ask them boardroom or ballroom questions.
That's when you break out your boardroom or ballroom questions. Kills every time.
Kills every time. Yeah, so they probably won't be able to tell us anything because they probably won't know anything. I think they might have like little bits of like character arcs, but sometimes I think they tell the actors things are going to be happening for their characters, and then they get into the season and they're like, what happened to my arc? Wasn't I supposed to be doing something?
They're like, you're going to have, listen, Kyler, you're going to have the best arc ever this season. She's like, this season? And they're like, yes, this season. and the season's going along. She's like, got me again.
But I got a blue streak in my hair.
So. I got a blue streak. And I've got all this blue eyeshadow. So who really won?
Let's see. Leslie says some fans wanted the showrunner and producers to explain season 5. That's a great question. Really just take it to the source. Be like, explain yourselves.
Excuse me, could you just tell us what season 5, what was that? I would have a lot of really specific questions about Ramakon and Pencil Skirt. I'd be like, excuse me, all of my questions are Ramakon related.
Season 5, I have one question. Why?
Why? Excuse me. My question is, how dare you? No follow-ups. You just sit down.
Oh man, that would be so good if we could submit fan questions to the showrunners. that would be it would be on fire. Literally,
like, not taking questions. No fan questions for us, please. Thank you.
Curated questions only, please. Yeah, so that would be really fun. Apparently, also GalaxyCon is having a Supergirl panel on September 22nd. So if you're into that, Abby does have a question regarding season 5. In regards to season 5 in 2020, what's worse, Leviathan or TikTok?
Have you seen the TikTok where the guy does that Phil Collins song, but with the different cabinets?
Oh, I have seen that one. Yes.
So good. I mean, obviously TikTok is way better than Leviathan.
I also saw one where this guy like switched out hats and like his shirts and stuff while he was just sitting down. And I was like, oh, how did he do that? So
TikTok is magic.
It may be owned and operated by like a communist government that does a lot of terrible things, but some of the videos are pretty good.
They might be hacking into your phone right now, but I saw one where they did the Harry Potter theme music with their dryer and their washer. Guys.
Sorry,
it's worth it.
Sorry, Leviathan. You can't compete with that, Leviathan.
It's true.
Let's see. Yeah, so that is kind of a look. We sort of trailed off into TikTok territory, but to get back to DC Fandome, those are some of the positives. A lot of fan-centric, on-time panels with good content. So that was all good. So Morgan, if you'll indulge me, I do have some critiques of DC Fandome.
I love critiques.
they're not big critiques, but I think they're very important. And so I'm very curious to get your feedback on it as well. Once Pastor Rebecca explains herself, to see if you also would have these same critiques. I'm very curious about what you think about it. So one of the things that they did promote early on is create your schedule. Get in dcfandome.com and create your schedule. So I did. I created a schedule. I was ready to go. I was very excited. And I'll let Pastor Rebecca explain what the problem was about the schedule. One of the things I immediately realized about DC Fandome that I did not like as a fan is that there is no link inside the Hall of Heroes, the main page for DC Fandome, that shows you your schedule. There's nothing. You can't go in. Let's see. I'll find the main page here where all the live stuff is happening. You can see the Twitter, the tweets, the live tweets that are happening, but there's no main menu. There's a menu for selecting your language, but there is nothing. And there's a button for the store. There's a really nice link to the merchandise that you can buy, but there's no accessible link to your schedule. There's nothing down here. There's the shop. Of course, I mean, they got lots of links to the shop. You're not going to miss how to find the shop. But and of course, there's these legal things that they have down here. But that's it. They don't. As a fan, I like to, when I go to conventions, I'm constantly like on my phone in the app looking for my schedule. What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What's happening now? And that's just maybe something that I have gotten used to at conventions, at Dragon Con, at Atlanta Comic Con, whatever it is. I'm going to that schedule a lot. So the idea that they pushed a couple of days beforehand, create your schedule, and then they have no schedule link inside the Hall of Heroes, that is mind-blowing to me. That they don't even have, they could put a little URL at the bottom here with the, if they didn't want to make it super prominent like the shop, they could at least put something down here like, create a schedule or find what's happening next. They should have, that's just basic to me, to have a schedule there. To me, that is, wow, that is ridiculous. So, Morgan, now that you've heard Pastor Rebecca deliver her grievances, what do you think about the idea that you can't access your schedule with inside DC Fandome?
Yeah, that's part of the thing. The part that like seemed really confusing to me is like the scheduling and like how you got from like one area of the fandom to another area of the fandom, and like I don't know, like why wouldn't you have an easily accessible schedule so you could remember what you wanted to see? Like that's huge. Like I'm thinking about, they have all the big conventions have like apps and stuff where you can browse the schedule and figure out what you want to do. And like every year at the Comic-Con, I have like a multi-page spreadsheet with my whole schedule on it. It's like, there's a little thing on it that's like, please just eat the protein bar that you packed because you're not getting lunch today. But like, if they really want to mimic the convention experience, that they should make scheduling a much bigger part of it, and also not eating and getting like a Auntie Anne's pretzel and that's your dinner.
That's the convention experience, really.
It is, yeah. They send everybody an Auntie Anne's pretzel and they're like, here's dinner.
Yeah, they made it very difficult for me and I was very frustrated. The only way I could access my schedule is I just happened to still have it in my browser history. I like dug back into my browser history to find the stupid schedule that I had created a couple of days before. So if I hadn't had that link, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm sitting here for 12 hours because I don't know what's next. I don't know how to find what's happening now. So that was the problem. Because like once I got the schedule, I was like, oh, I can go back and watch the Titans thing tomorrow. Yeah, I'll just come back for that. No schedule, mind blowing. It made it very difficult.
Since they like condensed it, because the original conception of this fandom thing seemed very confusing and kind of actually like a convention where you're like, where am I? I don't. What's Hall H? You know, how do I get in there? Why does it smell like that in here? But like when they condensed it to one stream, like why not just have like what's next somewhere available?
Yeah, it looks like Nabia says, I just kept my schedule open on a tab aside from the beginning. Yeah, once I found the URL, I had it and I was ready to go. But like, what if you didn't have that and you had not browsed before and created your schedule and you had no link? That was a problem. Donna says she printed out her schedule. So you could have done that. I didn't want to print anything out because FYI, my printer won't print for some reason. I don't know why. It's 100 years old. That's probably why. But you could add it to Mark says mentions Google Calendar. You could add it, but when I started adding things, I had like 100,000 things in my Google Calendar. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to rely on the URL. I cannot handle all this stuff in my Google Calendar. So
Leslie said the fandom on Twitter was still touting panels for August, which had been moved to September.
Oh, that is rough. They probably scheduled things. And
that breaks my heart as a social media manager.
Same.
Oh, it's so easy to do.
Yeah. That's probably what happens. They scheduled it ahead of time and they forgot that they had done it. Yeah. So the schedule thing was ridiculous. I hope they change that because especially with next time where there's so much stuff happening, I think they need to make sure that gets fixed. Just because I was very confused about that whole situation. It seriously took me about 30 minutes. I was like, what is this? Like once I got in there, I was like, what is happening? I don't understand what's going on. So that was my beef about the schedule. The sweepstakes, very similar to the schedule issues. So I guess we can kick it to past Rebecca, and then we can come back and talk about the sweepstakes as well. Because this was the sweepstakes where you could get put into a drawing to win a Lego minifigure Supergirl with the bangs and the pants. And I really wanted to try to win that. So I was really dedicated to figuring out the sweepstakes thing. So I'll let past Rebecca get in there and tell you what happened. So they're going to have, apparently, from what I understand, they're having drawings every 30 minutes to win prizes. There's a grand prize bundle, and there's also a Lego Supergirl minifigure, which I wanted to try to enter and get. But they have no link to that on the main. This is the main page, and there's nothing there. If I didn't know, if I had not seen that news article from the Hollywood Reporter about the Lego minifigure, I would have no idea. If I was just hopping into DC Fandome today, I would have no idea there was a drawing that was happening to win prizes. So they really need, I mean, I think this is really cool. DC Fandome is awesome. I'm really excited about all the stuff that's happening today. But that needs to be corrected if they do this again. There needs to be as much information for fans as possible because it just, to me, I had to dig around. I had to dig around and find that schedule URL. I had to dig around and find the giveaway sweepstakes page because one of the news articles that I read initially had the wrong URL in it. So I had to go and find this because I think yesterday the TH article, because I remember reading the TH article, when I read it yesterday, when I clicked on the link, it didn't work. And I thought, oh, well, maybe it's not going to go live until DC Fandome August 22nd. But apparently that was just the wrong URL. It just was straight up wrong. So they corrected it, I guess, in the THR article today because it did have the right correct URL. So I'm going to try to enter. I had to work pretty hard. I had to spend some time finding those links. And that is just something that should be automatically on the main page for fans. because that I can't get over it. That's one of those things that should just be an easy URL link that you should just be able to click on. And in addition to that, when you did submit your information into the sweepstakes, which I tried to do as much as I could every 30 minutes, because I want that Lego pants bang Supergirl. It wouldn't give you a notification like, thank you for entering. Your submission was submitted. So I was like, I guess I submitted it. I guess I entered. I don't know.
You always need a thank you page so you know it went through. That's like having a web page 101.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I entered, maybe I didn't. I don't know. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think there should be something in that main area where it says, "Hey, we've got a drawing or sweepstakes," or maybe like a commercial within the live stream?
Yeah, there should be something. It should be, I don't even think a commercial in the live stream, because then you have to like remember a URL that you have to then like type in. Like that doesn't, it should be, everything should be easily linked. There should be something that says like sweepstakes, like enter sweepstakes or something, so that you can easily get over to the sweepstakes. Like why are you hiding it?
Yeah, it was frustrating for me just because I thought that would be something that should be easy for us. If you're going to make this about the fans, don't make us work for this. Make this very easy for us.
Abby says, I had trouble entering too. It was very sensitive. Like the state name had to be abbreviated.
Oh,
that's intense. Like how do you know that? Like, you can't type in New Jersey. It has to be NJ.
So I guess it told you if there was an error.
I guess so.
Well, then I guess mine went through because I didn't get any errors.
Yes, you did it correctly. You'll know when that bangs pants Supergirl shows up at your door.
She's not going to show up. I don't think I'm going to win anything, but keep your eyes on eBay. I'm sure that will show up somewhere there. Leslie says she never found the link to the Lego Supergirl sweepstakes. Yeah, like you would know if you didn't know that was in that THR article. I did it again. THR article, you wouldn't have known because the information wasn't made available. And I don't know if they tweeted it out from the main Twitter account. Let's see. Mark says something about the URL for the sweepstakes was case sensitive. Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of Abby's problems too.
That's crazy.
When are the winners chosen for that? That's a good question. I'm sure it's in all the legalese that was in the drawing sweepstakes rules that I didn't admittedly pay a lot of attention to. So I just assume that if I win, they'll notify me and let me know. Let's see. Mark says there was a thank you page on submission, but there was so much else on the page that you had to look closely. And then I would reload the page to get the form back to re-enter. Wow, I did not see anything that said thank you. I don't think my submissions, I have a sneaking suspicion my submissions didn't go through. So if y'all see a Lego minifigure of Melissa Benoist with the bangs and the pants, let me know. If it's on eBay, I will check that out. So yeah, the sweepstakes, like the schedule, my biggest gripes, just because they did not let people know where to find that stuff. I thought that should have been really simple for them to just put a link in there. So I guess the only thing that we have left to talk about for DC Fandome, unless people in the chat have other things they want to talk about, was there anything Supergirl related? So we did talk about the Melissa Benoist Supergirl Lego minifigure. So there was that. Most everything related to the CW Supergirl, like we talked about, was moved to September 12th. But I did not realize that until I hopped into DC Fandome the day of. So all of my recordings had a really nice, Supergirl background. And there was no Supergirl stuff. But there was something tangentially related to Supergirl in the form of the Multiverse 101 panel with Greg Berlanti, Jim Lee, and Walter Hamada, who, if you don't know, he's kind of the big executive who oversees DC Comics on film. What I took away from that panel, kind of two big highlights, were that Greg Berlanti addressed how the CW has used the multiverse and how it still plays into this world post-crisis, post-Amadeus. So he's sort of made it make sense for me, because I guess I still had some questions because I guess the multiverse as it had existed prior to pre-Crisis, now everything there is in Earth Prime, but there's Earth Prime is part of a bigger multiverse. It's still a little confusing, but Greg Berlanti put it in such a way that it made some sense. And the only other thing that they kind of talked about that I thought was related to the Arrowverse was that all of those panelists, Greg Berlanti, Jim Lee, and Walter Hamada, talked about the very last-minute decision to incorporate Ezra Miller into Crisis on Infinite Earths and how those kinds of cameos could be possible again. So there was some talk about the idea that it is possible now that we could cross over like that with the films and the TV shows again. So they have not closed the door on that. So Ezra Miller sort of opened the floodgates of the multiverse with that cameo. So I think it's still possible. So who knows what that means for the future, but the Multiverse 101 panel I thought was pretty good.
It was funny that they said that some of the actors who were in the Crisis were texting him after that Ezra Miller cameo going, I didn't know he was going to be it. Like, why didn't you tell me? Was it a secret? And he was like, no, we like shot it yesterday.
Yeah, it sounded way last minute. Like I think they were putting the finishing touches on Crisis and they just kind of had this idea and they got Ezra Miller the suit and kind of went in there, and it sounded like Mark Guggenheim wrote the scene, I think, which surprises me. I think Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin really made that come to life because I don't really think Mark Guggenheim's not that great of a writer myself. But they made it work. They made it a good scene, but it was pretty last minute. So I'm glad to hear, though, that the multiverse with TV and film is still much in play because that didn't used to be the case. If you say if say you had a Superman, a Clark Kent on Smallville, it was really touchy about putting a Superman on the big screen. Like you had to really keep it separate.
I remember from those Smallville days because I remember that they wanted to sneak in Batman into Smallville, and so they made Ian Somerhalder play a character called something. It was like Adam Knight or something. It was basically like Adam Batman Man, and it was. And then at the end, they like the studio was basically like, no, you cannot have Batman. We have told you this, and they're like, I don't care about Ian Somerhalder's Batman Man. You have to. He's not Batman. And they were like, oh man. And so then they just like unceremoniously killed him off. Spoiler alert for Smallville. But it was like one of those things where like they would try to sneak stuff in and then that like DC would be like, no. Cannot have Batman.
Yeah. So they used to be a lot more standoffish about this kind of stuff. I want to say there was some Batgirl stuff that I think maybe they wanted to, I don't know. There's always been some weird stuff with Batgirl that like they couldn't use Barbara Gordon for stuff, and I'm glad to see that they've kind of gotten over themselves a little bit and kind of really embraced the multiverse of it all.
Yeah, that's really nice. Like the nice thing about being able to have like a TV universe and like a movie universe is like you don't have to have everything interconnect so tightly where you have to like have 12 people in a room from 5 different properties and be like, hey, can I do this one thing in my story? So, I mean, the multiverse kind of allows for some of these shows and some of the movies to do whatever they want to do.
The only problem with it, and it's sort of related to Mark's comment here, Andy, take a guess at that last name, Morgan. Muschietti?
Muschietti, I would think.
Okay, so Mark says, I think Andy Muschietti, who is the director of the Flash movie, whatever that's going to be, pretty much confirmed that the scene in Crisis on Infinite Earths is canon and will be how Ezra's Flash gets the name. Because in Crisis, he hears Grant Gustin call himself the Flash, and he's like, the Flash. So that is some part of me thinks that's kind of cool that he would get it from another Barry, but at the same time, I'm like, well, what if the director of the Flash movie wanted to be the one who did that instead of Mark Mark Guggenheim. So that I think is unfortunate that, if that gets taken away from storytellers. But other than that, it's cool. But I think they should let storytellers be able to do what they want with it.
Yeah, I think that the nice thing I like about the multiverse is that it keeps them all together, but it separates them enough so that like things can be there, like the movie can be its own thing and a show can be its own thing without having to be like, hold on, where are we in our, our huge timeline of things? Because it can get like super like crazy and a little too interconnected. I think the multiverse helps it, they're all together, but they're also, in different universes. So it helps that.
And I think it for me, it makes everything valid. You can have Ben Affleck's Batman exist and Michael Keaton's Batman exists, and they're both awesome.
Exactly.
I think that's
just a multiverse.
Yeah.
So Robert Pattinson's Batman can exist right alongside all the other ones.
Can he though? If he's
eating mac and cheese and creating his own snacks in his hotel room.
He's like, I'm vengeance with my mac and cheese, with my Kraft's mac and cheese. Yeah. So, but they're all valid because all the multiverse allows for all interpretations. Donna mentions that they also said there will be more DC and movie crossover characters like Ezra Miller and The Flash, and everyone wants Wonder Woman to come to National City and visit Supergirl. That's a good question, Morgan. So if you could take anybody from the films, I guess any film, any DC film, who would you want to bring onto Supergirl?
Oh, that is such a good question. I feel like it's probably Wonder Woman, but I also think that like unleashing Harley Quinn into the Supergirl universe would be really fun. Like I just can't imagine what she wouldn't like. She would just get into that universe and break everything.
She would. She definitely would. I don't know that I think Alex would have a real problem with Harley Quinn.
Alex would not be a fan of Harley Quinn, and Harley would be like, "Look I have blue eyeshadow too. We look at the blue streak in my hair. We are the same." And maybe that would make Alex like reconsider some of her sartorial choices.
We are the same. Oh, now you changed my answer. Now I want Harley Quinn. That's what I want. My answer was originally because my first instinct was Henry Cavill Superman. That my perfect Superman Supergirl relationship and dynamic is the Henry Cavill Superman mixed with the Melissa Benoist Supergirl. I think that would be an actual really good dynamic in the comics. Have that more mature Superman mixed in with Melissa Benoist. Oh, that would be my dream. I'll also take Amy Adams, Lois Lane. I will also take that.
That's a great one. That's a great. You can't go wrong with either Henry Cavill or Amy Adams. Two very beautiful people.
I would take it if we're doing multiverse stuff. Those are high on my list. Also, Helen Slater is Supergirl. I know there was some hope for that maybe in Crisis, but maybe it could still happen. I don't know. But yeah, that would be really cool. All right. So I know we're kind of getting long on time. So let's see. Hang on a second. Oh, Rachel says, didn't Henry Cavill work with the guy who played Amadei? Maybe. I don't know.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I've told Rebecca this because I was watching The Witcher.
Yeah.
The Witcher.
Yes.
And I was like, it was haunting me. One of the characters was so familiar. And I was like, I don't understand. Where do I know this guy from? I was turning to Mike and I was like, where do I know him from? And so Mike is like, okay, fine. I'll look him up on IMDb. And he scrolls and he goes, he was in Supergirl. And I was like, no, he wasn't. I remember people who were in Supergirl. I podcast about it. And he was like, he was a character called Amadei? And I started laughing so hard we had to pause. I was like, it's Amadei. That's so Amadei.
Good call. Yeah. So maybe a Henry Cavill Superman appearance with Amadei.
I'm gonna start calling it like the Amadei Extended Universe. We just sneak Amadei into everything. He's just in the background, like the old Stan Lee cameos in the Marvel movies. But in DC, it's just Amadei.
Nobody's gonna know who it is, but like the small contingent of Supergirl radio listeners, that's Amadei.
Oh my God, it's Amadei. I mean, he was everywhere. Remember, he was like photographed at all the parties.
He was beloved. So yeah, no, that would be really funny. Yeah, good call. So let's take a couple of emails before we go, because we've had some listeners send us some feedback about some things. So we have an email from Sam, who writes, quote, "It's been brought to my attention that we've never seen where Brainy lives. And I know that your podcast has a running joke about National City real estate. I'd love to hear what your theories are on where Brainy lives. Loving the hiatus content and wish you both continued safety and rest during this crazy time," unquote. Well, thank you very much for that, Sam. We appreciate that you enjoy Supergirl Radio and that you stay safe and get lots of rest. Okay, so the question is, where does Brainy live?
It's a good question. So I think initially he had just kind of moved into Nia's place, but without her realizing it. Like, that's why he was always around. She was like starting to feel like he was clingy, because like she would think that he left, or she'd like leave for the day and he would just come back and like use her shower and stuff. And I think it's probably why her roommate was so cranky about the whole situation. She was like, "Girl, he's living here." And Nia's like, "It just feels that way because he's over a lot and we like really like each other." And she's like, "No, I'm trying to tell you he's living here." And she's like, "Girl, come on." But really, he's like behind the couch. And then I think once they broke up, he was in some real trouble because now his house is gone. So I think probably he moved into the DEO, because I don't think that like a lot of people hang out there like they do at Catco.
Well, they don't anymore. It's been destroyed.
So now I think he's homeless again is the problem. I think he had embraced the lifestyle lived by so many of his friends, in that he was doing that under desk living. and there's like a lot of really big desks. So I think that he like really built himself like an under desk condo situation with maybe some rooms, and like maybe he just like sometimes he would just wander into one of those weird windowless cells that they kept people in. He was like, "This is a change of pace." But now he has no home. I mean, he's got a lot of problems. He's actively dying right now, but his second problem is that he's homeless, I think.
Well, yeah. So Rachel says, Jesse says he sleeps in his desk chair at the DEO. So that is also a possibility.
So not too far off.
But I also like your speculation that the roommate notices that he's around a lot. That makes a lot of sense about the dynamic between.
Nia's like, I don't understand why, but I feel like you're being so clingy right now. And he's like, "I don't know what you mean." She's like, it just feels like you're always around. And he's like, "I don't know what you mean." And then he crawls out underneath of her bed, like when she's not looking.
New Rachel also says he'll probably move into the tower. Yeah, that's possible. Remind me, is the tower just like a building that they have, or is it Jean's apartment?
Because Jean has a thing.
John's apartment, right?
John has a thing with like books, right?
But doesn't he have like a Diagon Alley thing?
Yeah, that's what I feel like he does have. He's like, the wand chooses you or whatever. But maybe it's like the bedroom you're going to sleep in chooses you. Brainy, where do you want to be? And like, it's like the room of requirement. And you just open it, it's a bedroom. Sweet. I've never had one of these. But no, yeah, I thought that was like where Jean lived. But then they also had that area with the table for all the superheroes. So is that in the same area?
The table of the superheroes. Are you talking about like the Hall of Justice and the Crisis?
Yes,
yeah,
that one. Yeah, is that a different location?
It's a different location. Yeah, I think that's
that
in
place
Star
didn't
Labs.
look nice.
No, it's. I think it's like part of Star Labs.
Yeah, I don't think you want to sleep under that desk.
Yeah, Abby says, I thought the tower was an extension from his office books shelf. Yeah, I think you go through the Diagon Alley bricks and you get into the tower. I think that's how
what I think too.
Yeah, so still lots of questions about where Brainy lives. Maybe we'll see at some point if he survives into season 6.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think we have another question related to this, Morgan.
Oh, okay. So we have a question from Ashley who writes, I was listening to some of your older episodes and had a theory on James's living situation, aka his desk. What if James's desk was a door to his underground place/apartment? Sort of like how Andrea Rojas has stairs leading to the Obsidian North from Catco. On a different note, I was just listening to the Supergirl Sorting Hat episode. Heard about the listener that ran a half marathon for her grandmother and her brother to raise money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. I just wanted to say that it's nice to hear people talking about the MDA from places you would not expect. I thought it was cool because I have muscular dystrophy. Anyway, thanks for always providing the fans of Supergirl with things to listen to during the hiatus and during the week when the show is on. I think that that's a really solid theory. Like, I love the idea of like just a magical stairway that leads to like a really swanky, like here I thought that he had just tricked out his desk, but maybe he had created like a whole beautiful home that underneath of it that like the stairs led to it.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Harry Potter well, you know how when you go into the tents, it becomes like this big thing, this big room. So I think if you actually experience going under the desk, I think it becomes a bigger location. It's not just the space that we see of the desk. I think there's more down there. So
I like it. It's like the TARDIS, Doctor Who TARDIS, like it's bigger on the inside. Like
he
just goes under the desk and it's like a whole magical universe under there. It's like Narnia. You walk through the desk and it's like, oh my God, Mr. Tumnus.
I think just like Narnia.
We really workshopped this desk theory. Very magical now.
That would be such a good season of Supergirl if somebody found the Narnia desk and went inside and like it was a whole journey into.
They just have like a whole like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe episode where they get stuck in the desk universe.
The desk universe, man! What a good story arc that would be. So good, so good. And also, Ashley, thank you for sharing about your MD. Yeah, we did have a listener who did mention the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We have also looked at that organization in terms of the DC TV podcast fundraiser. So maybe we'll one year because we try to change them up every year. Maybe we'll try to feature that as the charity that we raise money for. So thank you for sharing that, and hope you're well and doing okay during all of this weird time that we're living in.
Yeah, and that the MDA is a great organization, so people should look them up. And obviously, every organization right now needs donations and time and help and volunteering. So.
Yes. Yeah. If you can give to help out anybody during this time, definitely do that. So we'll take a few more comments and then we'll wrap it up here. Speaking of which, Danny says I just joined and I'm not sure what conversation I walked into, but I'm here for it. Danny, we went on a wild ride into.
We went to Desk Narnia and back.
Desk Narnia. Yes. So get ready for that. You're going to have to go for the full context on that conversation. So let's see. Donna thinks you should write for TV. I definitely think Morgan should be a TV writer. I would watch whatever show that was.
Whatever show I wrote would be so hard to follow. But like, what's happening this week? There's a desk with a magical universe underneath.
That's what would be fun about it. It's just crazy town. I would be into it. I would watch that show. All right, I would podcast about that show. Is what I would do.
Nice, yeah.
I would have many speculations about that. All right. Well, Morgan, is there anything else that you want to cover before we wrap this live stream up?
I think that was it, especially since I missed the fandom. So I've had a lot of opinions about a thing I did not actually show up for, as I always do.
Will you want to, are you looking forward to, or are you, what am I trying to say? Would you, with all of this knowledge of what happened on August 22nd, will you be going into the Hall of Heroes on September 12th?
Yes, I think I will. I think I will be going into the Hall of Heroes. I'll be joining. I want to do the karaoke. I want to learn to draw. I want to do every activity aimed at small children.
Me too.
Yes,
I'm serious about it.
We're gonna be like, we're just gonna be cleaning up with those kids.
It's like elbowing them out of the online convention.
Show me how to draw a ladybug. If there's a trivia contest aimed at small children, I think that's the one that I can win. They'll be like, and it says the winner is Morgan. Morgan, how old are you? 30 what? Get out of here, Morgan. But I'm excited that the September one is going to have more of the TV show stuff and more of the TV content. I think that'll be pretty cool, and there'll be some Supergirl stuff. It might not be a panel, but it might be stuff about the show. So I think that those panels will be pretty neat. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll definitely do another live stream to reconnect after DC Fandome Part 2. Just to do real quick comment reactions from some things mentioned in the chat. Mark says, what did you think about the Black Adam panel and the JSA teaser? Real quick thoughts. I liked that they incorporated Boss Logic, who is a fan who does fan art and does some really great fan art. So I think The Rock probably reached out to Boss Logic, like he knew him by name. So I thought that was cool that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, that he knew who Boss Logic was, and that again it was fan driven, fan focused. I really liked that a lot.
The Rock is a gift.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna crush it. Rachel asks, do you think you'll cover DC Superhero Girls at some point? At some point, we will. We will definitely talk about the Supergirl animated voiceover actress who sounds like she smokes 10 packs a day. I have lots of thought about that. I have
really? Oh man, that makes me really want to watch it.
She did a great job, but I was like, I don't know if she's the voice for this character.
Now I'm imagining the voice being. Did you watch Kimmy Schmidt?
Yes, but I missed like the last part of the last season.
Oh yeah, so I'm imagining the voice is like her neighbor that owns the building.
Oh yes. Well, I mean she did a good job. I just every time I heard her voice, I was like, I feel like she smokes. She sounds like a smoker, and I don't know that that's what I see when I look at that version of Supergirl. Oh, we got lots of questions about what we're going to cover, which might actually segue into the next thing we have to talk about. Yes, at some point we are. Supergirl being super has been on our list for a very, very long time.
Really has.
We have a long time to do some things, but we've got to catch up on things that we haven't been able to cover. So we will get there eventually, Mark. One day, Supergirl being super is gonna happen.
It's a great book.
And I hope maybe we can get Kat Kalmia on to talk about it with us. I think
great idea.
I think she would be into that. Ashley says there should be a whole podcast episode about the real estate and desk in National City. Very possible.
I mean, we've got some time. Why not?
I mean, we focused on the wigs. I don't know why we wouldn't talk about real estate. So
whenever I remember that we did an entire podcast episode about wigs, it makes me happy.
So Supergirl being super and National City real estate, they're on the list. The one I'm talking about is from the smoking Supergirl. It sounds probably worse than it really is. I had a thing about it. But the Supergirl that sort of sounded like she smoked was from the original DC Superhero Girls animation. So the one where she's got like the cute little dress and the sneakers as the shoes. That's the version I'm talking about. Not the one with like the kind of short hair who likes to punch things a lot. I'm talking about like the clumsy Supergirl. That's the one I'm talking about. So if you want to go and listen to her voice, let me know what you think. Do you think she smokes 10 packs a day? I don't know. And I hate to sound that. That's what it sounds like. Anyway, it's a whole thing. I have a whole gripe. One more. We'll take one more. Danny says, I'm still waiting for Morgan's reaction to Supergirl, the movie. That may also be something that we will cover here in the next couple of months. We have a format for it. We also have maybe a Helen Slater message that we can play in regards to this. So
good.
Look forward to that. We'll probably we've been talking about it for a long time. We'll see if we can get it nailed down like we want it. But basically, what I'm pitching is a debate format. Morgan will take the con. I will take the pro side of things.
I'm going to purchase a podium for it. I'm going to be like, excuse me. My note.
You can have little index cards if you need to.
Exactly.
So we'll do a debate format. I'm hoping to maybe get a former Supergirl Radio co-host to moderate the debate. And then we will probably, what I think we'll probably do is at the end of the debate, after if we said our piece, made our arguments, people in the comment section, I think will vote on who won the debate.
I like it.
So that's how we're going to try to approach Supergirl, the movie. So bring your arguments. Although I think we're just going to focus on our arguments, but you can make them in the comment section as we go. So that's kind of where we're headed with that. That may happen in November. That's the plan. So she's going to be watching it in 2020. That's happening.
Oh yeah.
So get ready for that. All right. So Morgan, do you want to tease what we're doing next week?
Sure. So while we wait for a DC Fandome Part 2, next week on Tuesday, September 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be chatting with Abby from the Katie McGraw Book Club. I know probably a bunch of you follow it, but if you don't, you should. It's a great Instagram and a Twitter account. And if you ever wonder what Katie McGraw is reading, believe me, they know. They have like zoomed into her bookshelf and identified it every book. So what we're going to be doing is, if you'd like to join us on our book club discussion, because we are going to be reading Going on Being, Buddhism and the Way of Change by Mark Epstein. So this is a book that Lena gives to Kara in season 5 after Jeremiah's off-screen death. Fun fact, I discovered today with some Googling that Mark Epstein, the author of this book, is not actually Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein. So if you were feeling a little bit weird about giving that family money like I was today before I brought it on the Kindle, don't feel bad. It's just some poor chill Buddhist dude who's got like a doctorate, and he's like, I don't know that guy.
Yeah, from I think what we understand, Jeffrey Epstein did have a brother named Mark.
He does have a brother named Mark. It's just a very unfortunate name for him, for Mark Epstein, the Buddhist doctor, that he is not Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein. That's not an association you probably want. So this is the book that Lena gave to Kara in season 5. So we're going to be reading it, and we're going to be discussing it like a real book club with Abby from Katie McGraw Book Club next week. So we're going to be live and wired on Supergirl Radio's Facebook page and on the DC TV podcast YouTube channel. And so that's if you'll remember, that's the book that Lena gave to Kara after it turns out Miss Tessmacher murdered Jeremiah Danvers. So may we all get as much out of it as Kara did, as she probably opened it, went, and then put it aside.
So if you want to go and purchase the book or listen to the audiobook and read along with us and come back next Tuesday, we will be discussing that book and having a real book club. So if you don't read it, you can still come and get some spoilers on Going on Being, and we'll discuss it. And we'll probably talk about the themes of the book and the content of the book, but we'll probably also make the Supergirl connection as well. I'm very curious about what Abby thinks about why Lena chose that book specifically to give to Kara during that time.
Well, it's funny because when I went on to buy the book, and I did it way too late to actually buy it on Amazon and have it shipped to me, because why wait why not wait until the last possible moment? So I had to buy the Kindle version, which is like a little bit different of a version, but we're not going by page number, so we'll be fine. But when I saw the actual book on Amazon, there's like a couple copies that are like $1,000, and I was like, is Lena just trying to flex by giving her the most expensive book she can think about?
Yeah, that has to be incorrect. That
Lena's like, here's my $900 paperback.
That has to just be input wrong.
The book is made of pure gold. Cara, melt it down and buy yourself something nice.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know why it's listed as so expensive. I got the hardcover, so the hardcover was. Aren't the hardcovers usually more expensive?
Yeah, but this time they're like the paperback is really the life-changing one.
I don't understand it. Somebody needs to notify Amazon and let them know that this book is way too expensive. Yeah, so that's a little bizarre. But come back next Tuesday and we'll be discussing that book. And it's a pretty good read. I started reading it last night. My hardback has big font.
Oh, nice.
So I like that because it makes it seem like you're reading a little faster than
it's like,
you
oh
probably
my
are.
God, I'm reading so fast.
So I like the big font. That helps a lot. So that'll be a lot of fun. So come back and hang out with us next week. All right. So if you would like to contact Supergirl Radio, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. And if you would like to leave us a voicemail, you can do that at 678-71. I think I said that wrong. 678-718-7252, like Supergirl's first appearance. So let's see. We also have, we're also on Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, where we also have a Spotify playlist where we're a literal Supergirl Radio that features music featured on and inspired by the show. We're also on Radio Public and Podchaser. We are also listed on DC's fan page, which you can find at dccomics.com/DC-fans. And we are available on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. So if you have some time, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review over there. And you can find all of the links that I just mentioned on the right side of the page at supergirlradio.com if that seemed pretty overwhelming to you. All right. So Morgan, since we're live and wired,
I'm ready.
We need to do some DC TV podcast plugs.
We sure do. And listen, I've been prepared. I know you might think, like, Morgan's been on vacation. She's out of it. She doesn't remember what the podcasts are. And if you've been thinking that, you are correct. I don't remember any of the podcasts. So let's do it. Supergirl Radio is part of the DC TV Podcast Network. So if you're interested in The Flash, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Titans, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, or the upcoming Superman and Lois series, make sure to follow DC TV Podcasts on social media and subscribe to the podcast mega feed if you want all of those podcasts in one place. Is that all? I feel like there's way more.
There's some new ones. There's
DC
some new
TV
ones.
After Dark. One of the ones that I
need to put that in here
about because I couldn't read it.
I need to add that into our doc. I'm so sorry that I left that out. You should be so upset with me.
But I like that I just like seriously just forgot it and almost I was like, I feel like there's a Green Lantern one. It was what I was gonna say.
We do have a Green Lantern podcast. Some of those podcasts are shows that are in the works. Strange Adventures. We have a podcast about that. I believe there also is a Watchmen one that you can listen to if you're watching the HBO Watchmen. There's a lot of podcasts on DC TV podcasts. So just subscribe to the mega feed. That's the best way to get all of that. And while we're here talking about DC TV podcasts, we should plug the T Public store. We haven't done that in a while. And we should mention we've got some cool Supergirl merchandise exclusive to Supergirl Radio. We should add and mention. You can find all that merch if you go to supergirlradio.com. There's a TeePublic link at the top of the page. Click on that TeePublic link and you'll be brought to the store where you can find merch like the RamaCon Rama Wine T-shirt. We also have a mug in this form. I'm actually, I don't know if you can see it. I'm wearing it currently.
Yes.
So I'm plugging it as we podcast. But this was designed by the great Sarah Louver at Comic Girl. This was something we wanted to put out into the world because we thought there was a real missing part of the market of RamaCon merchandise. So we made that available to everyone.
We're making the RamaCon merch happen, and I think that's what everybody's really been clamoring for. Coming out of season 5, they're like, I guess some other stuff happened, but also RamaCon. And listen, his wine, it's earth-shatteringly good. So.
So definitely check that out. This is something you're not going to find anywhere else except for the DC TV podcast.
You sure won't. You sure? It's weird. We have cornered the market on RamaCon merch, and I feel proud about that.
Yeah, if that is our legacy, I'm okay with that.
So be it. It's quick question from Abby. She asked me, what's the schedule for DC TV After Dark? Is it monthly? Abby, you ask a good question. Do I have an answer? Maybe not. We were originally going for a twice a month schedule, but we're bad at it. So probably monthly is what After Dark is going to be.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. I think y'all should keep going no matter what that schedule is because it's a great listen. So everybody go and subscribe and listen. Let's see. We also had a question from New Rachel about the plugs contest. So I was waiting until we got word about Green Arrow and the Canaries. I don't know if that's going to happen ever because the CW is going to make a live action Powerpuff Girls show. For some reason.
Mike just told me about that today, and I said, "Sounds amazing."
So I don't know if Green Arrow and the Canaries is going to be picked up, but I was kind of waiting to see if we needed to include them. But I'll wait until the shows start coming back, and if Green Arrow and the Canaries is not happening, maybe we can have a plugs contest the 1st of 2021. And we'll put the information out there and the criteria for it, and then you guys can do the plug so that Morgan doesn't have to anymore.
Come on, guys, you got to help me. You're my only hope.
The Powerpuff Girls thing, I'm conflicted.
I don't understand what that's gonna be.
I love the Powerpuff Girls.
Me too.
I love
they're tiny.
versions.
They're tiny children.
Yeah, but they're going to be grown-up Powerpuff Girls.
They're going to be like grown-up, extremely hot people on the CW.
And they're going to hate their lives because they don't like that their childhood was wasted fighting crime. So there's that angst.
Sure. I mean, what do the people want? They want like angry Powerpuff Girls, right?
They want angsty Bubbles. I mean,
I guess my question is Mojo Jojo still going to be like their main adversary, the monkey with the big brain?
Oh, I know who Mojo Jojo is.
Good.
Don't act like I don't know who Mojo Jojo is.
I'm a big fan.
I think you almost have to. I feel like that's. Yeah. But my pitch to the CW is like, if you're going to go back into that well and that old animated Cartoon Network well, where is my Dexter's Laboratory live action TV series? That's what they should be making.
I feel like a Dexter's Laboratory would maybe translate a little bit better into live action than the Powerpuff Girls. I don't know why.
You have like a really nerdy college student who saves the day with his inventions, has a really annoying sister, and his rival Mandark is always causing trouble on campus. That's the show.
The best part of that is that you can bring that into the DC cinematic in the DC TV universe and then cross over with Lena Luthor.
Lena Luthor and Dexter.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Lena brings her slightly homicidal lab assistant Eve into the mix. She's like, this is Eve. It might still be my my murder robot Hope, but we're pretty sure that that when the universes collapsed, Hope was no more.
Dee Dee would definitely join Lena and AI Hope for whatever plans they've got going on. I'm just
saying we're pitching a great show here.
I see it. I think people would watch it.
Listening.
They're never listening.
They're never listening is the problem.
But that would be my pitch if we're going Cartoon Network from old school animation. Anyway, so I don't know how we segue out of animated Cartoon Network. But I guess we could go into our personal plugs. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at The Derby Kid. I also have a YouTube channel that I mentioned earlier, the Snyder Cut Reaction. If you go to youtube.com/duckprod, so you can find some videos there, and hopefully I'll have some more content coming your way soon. So that's how you can follow me.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mojotastic. You can also find me as a co-host on the Legends of Tomorrow podcast and DC TV After Dark. And if you want to follow my cats also have an Instagram. It's the Lab Cats,
which is probably the only Instagram really worth following.
I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but they're really cute.
They're really cute. And I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm deathly allergic to cats. So this is a great way for me to see cats and not have my throat close up. So that's a good service that you're providing. I really appreciate it. All right. Well, I think it's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon.
And we will see you back inside the DC Fandome on September 12th.
DC TV podcast. There's too many now! Exclamation point. Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor Boardroom or Ballroom because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Is Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Oh, Helen Slater here. It's so fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!